Welcome to the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Interviews, a series we created to give you even more exposure to startups from the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Network. Today I'm here with Sebastian Nause-Blueml of Scoutbase. Scoutbase is a digital tool that helps reduce human error with real-time data. So welcome, Sebastian. Welcome, good to see you.
Hi, Leonardo. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, it's great. I always love to talk to startups and hear what they are doing, and also we take the opportunity to show the world what you're doing, and maybe we find some interested maritime company willing to work with you or investor willing to invest in you. So there's always an upside to this. First thing I would like to hear from you is something about your company. So what does Scoutbase do, and maybe something about you in the company? What's your role? So a general picture of Scoutbase.
Yeah. So really, like in a nutshell, what we really is, we help maritime companies tackle the biggest single contributor to accidents at sea, which is human error, right?
Yeah.
And the way we help them reduce incidents of human error is by collecting and giving them access to a entirely new data set, you could say, that we collect for them, right? Which is data on the different leading indicators that are known to cause human error at sea, right? And so we collect a quite good amount of data for them, for each vessel, for the entire fleet every month, where they then can see, right, this is where we're exposed to risk. This is where we need to act before an accident happens, right? So they can work proactively with this data set that we give them access to, which is like a new way of working with safety.
Okay. Yeah. So, but my question is, where does this data come from? Is data about the ship? Is data about the operations? Is data about the people? So how does it work?
It's a very good question. Really, what we focus on completely is I mean, it's the part of the system that makes everything work, which is it's the people, right? Like that's what it's about. Also, when it comes to human error. And it's arguably one of the most difficult things is to try and understand people, right? So what we do is we ask the experts on issues at sea, which is seafarers, right?
Yeah.
So we ask them essentially, we have a range of questions, of course, that all are like, early indicators, leading safety indicators. So what we ask them every second day, seafarers get a question. It's like, is this a problem for you? Is that a problem for you? And so on. And they have a very easy way of answering with our technology that just takes seconds. And I mean, we're also seeing that actually, because our technology, our tool is built to be kind of very easy to answer and very engaging, but we're seeing like pretty good response rates of consistently over 80%.
Oh wow.
Which means we're getting tons of data.
Amazing. But so do you sort of solicit information from the seafarer, or do they autonomously input information in your system?
No, we ask them. So if we were a seafarer on a vessel where Scoutbase is installed, we would send you a question every second day. You would see it on your phone. It just pops up magically. We have a technology that does that. You just see, hey, Leonardo, has this been an issue for you recently, right? Have there been misunderstandings? Do you have problems with communication, say? And then you can just answer yes, no, boom. Then we have a follow-up question. If you said, yeah, that was a problem, we ask you, for example, how often does it happen? Or well, what's the cause? Or what does it lead to? And so on. So with this is sort of like a big data approach to data gathering that we have, right? Because it's really about painting this picture of the entire fleet and what's going on the entire fleet. Like, what are the trends that we can see?
Yeah. And then, of course, you would see that the same issue comes time and again on the same, say, type of ship. So there's something wrong in that probably design or whatever, or the way we operate the type of ship, and so you're able really to spot not. So it's not a tool to like keep an eye on the seafarers
Oh,
as
hell
much
no,
as
no.
having them
Yeah.
give you the inputs on the field, really, where things happen, or you could say shit happens.
Yeah.
Really,
That's right.
their direct input. So they are your consultants in a way.
Absolutely. There, I mean, we see them as the experts on what should be improved at sea. Really, I mean, that's our point of view, right? And what we're trying to do is to give them like a direct voice in improving what's going on ships. That's our approach. But of course, as you mentioned, it's super important to emphasize that it's not to like control and like whatever oversee seafarers, because it's anonymous. We don't collect any private data, so it's like impossible for the companies that we give access to the data to say, oh, it was Leonardo who said this on whatever. Like that's not possible, because then people wouldn't feel that they can be honest, which is essential to us.
Yeah. I guess that there would be ways to make sure that you can protect this anonymity, because of course I think that the first reaction of a seafarer would be, well, yeah, okay, anonymous, but how many chief officers are there on this ship? You know, so it's obviously me, but I guess you can spread this information across the fleet and across. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's super important for to be able to get good, honest feedback from the people who are helping you and who shouldn't feel threatened by the very act of helping you help the company. So in fact, the question, how do companies react or use this? Do they understand it's not a control tool, and do they understand that it's fair, and not only fair but relevant and intelligent to listen to their crew rather than just to give them orders? Do they understand this?
It's a really good question. I mean, we've been talking to quite a good number of companies now, right? And there are definitely some that are not ready. That, I mean, we literally heard that talking to one company. They said like, "Hey, your tool, you know, it's like it seems smart. It's like easy to use, whatever, but we don't want to know. It's like we don't want this transparency, you know, because then everyone knows what's like." Not so good, right? And of course, this kind of company, they're not ready for it, for our tool yet. It's like a cultural readiness also in regards to their approach to working with safety. Kind of where are they almost in terms of like safety science? And those are also not the companies that we're going after. So
of course,
so far we've been engaging with companies that have this cultural readiness, and there are some that are definitely on the forefront of new approaches in working with safety. For example, Shell, who we're like piloting with now, they're very much like, okay, anything we can do, right, to be proactive, to improve, to reduce accidents, that's what we're going to do, right? So for them, it's like it fits very much within their sort of cultural mindset in regards to safety. So we see sort of like a split in maritime companies.
Yeah. So with the like positive and forward-looking companies, that's your target company to work with. And may I ask you, how are you doing? Do you have already clients, or are you piloting? At what stage are you at the moment?
Exactly. So we are piloting. We're piloting with Shell, for example, and we're piloting with DFDS, the Danish Ro-Ro and Ferry company.
Yeah.
And so our goal is really to kind of work with the first movers first, and kind of establish ourselves as, you know, it's like a trusted partner in the sort of like maritime ecosystem, right? And then we know already there are a bunch of companies that don't want to be first movers, but they're ready to be second movers, right? So it becomes of a safer thing to engage with. But
yeah, absolutely. But I think that this is the way innovation works, and particularly digital innovation. There is this bell curve that has various names, but basically it's early adopters,
Exactly.
innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. And of course, you want to engage with the early innovators and the people who really understand what you're doing, not the people who feel it as a threatening their own like way of doing things. So yeah, definitely. So that's good. So you're piloting, and I guess how are the pilots going?
I mean, it's going well. It's going well. It's quite exciting to see, you know, our tool in action, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, we're quite we're happy and like optimistic about
good.
scaling these engagements as well with those companies.
Exactly. Scaling, which is scaling on the operation side, but it's also scaling on the, say, business and investment side. And so this leads me to my last question about investment. So this is a public interview, so don't tell me anything that you wouldn't tell in a public forum. But so how are you doing with investment? Did you raise funds in the past, or how did you finance your initial startup? And then are you planning to to raise funds shortly?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, so far actually we've been really lucky. Yeah, because we're mostly funded by soft money. So both from like the maritime fund here in Denmark, which was fantastic to get twice actually, and then the innovation fund in Denmark. So that's been like most of the money that we got in. We also got 2 rounds of investment from the second largest IT company here in Denmark called KMD.
Yeah.
And so they invested a bit in us as well. But going forward, we will be raising a next round, like a seed stage round, towards the end of the year, or like in the end of the year. That's sort of our timeline.
Okay. That's interesting to know. For VCs, I would say, who are interested in your type of company, you're going to raise a seed round in the second half of the year. So it's coming actually in 5 days. We are in the second half. It's not in 5 days, of course.
No.
Towards the end of, say, quarter four probably.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I think it's great to see how public money can be spent wisely. The way you started, you know. So it's basically public funds that support really the creation of a maritime startup ecosystem, and that support good startups. Of course, they will have spent also for startups that didn't go ahead. That's fine, but that's part of the game. It's very clever for a country or for a region to do this and to support their local ecosystem.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. It's like it makes so much sense for Denmark to be focusing on the maritime industry and maritime startups, and that is what's happening. I mean, it's like fantastic support that maritime companies are getting here for sure.
And now on the fundraise, what profile of VC are you looking for?
I mean, ideally, of course, we're looking for VCs in the industry, right? So like some sort of combination of industry players that have a VC arm, or other vehicles, but smart money, so to speak, right? So
I think that's now that you frame it this way, it's very interesting, because this is what we have tried to develop with Startup Wharf, with the map. We have attracted interest from maritime companies and from investors, but of course, from which type of investors? Investors who are interested in maritime. So this is very powerful. I realized how lucky we have been in developing this, because now we have a very small network of investors who are specifically interested in maritime. And so I think this is the power. So I really hope that also through Startup Wharf and the network and the new things that we are doing, you'll be able to find the right partner in your progression towards mega success and world domination.
Yeah, let's do that. I like it.
Okay, so it was great having you today.
Yeah.
Great having this nice chat, and I wish you all the best for the future. So good luck, and
Thank you so much,
keep doing it. Thank you. Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Cheers.
Bye.